Okay, I thought I'd talk about some of the things I really like about dry fasting. One of the fact is that you just won't get sick anymore. Get rid of the toxins, get rid of the debris, you won't get sick anymore. In fact, once you get a couple of these things under your belt, you realize whatever happens, you can stay well. That's a huge amount of anxiety taken off the table. And don't worry, I've noticed it too. The level of anxiety from all the crazy things from this pudding brain administration has really put us into is by design. But one thing you can do is take some of the anxiety off the table. So if you can't get sick and you can fix anything that, when you get sick, that's why I love dry fasting. One of the things I also want to talk about is that when you dry fast, you're not taking any external water in the body. You're producing water inside the cells. That makes it real tough for all the pathogens to stay alive because they require external water to stay alive. Everything needs water. But dry fasting allows you to create your own water. They don't have that capability. There's no mechanism inside of the bacteria, virus, all this kind of stuff, these parasites, to actually make their own endogenous water. So they parch, they dry out, they die. And then something really interesting happens. When you get rid of all the parasites, and of course when you get rid of the bacteria, infections go away, and get rid of the virus, you don't get viruses anymore. And if you take resveratrol to stimulate NAD+, you can actually get rid of herpes virus because, again, NAD+ activates SIRT2. SIRT2 takes the acetyl markers off the virus. It can't replicate. It gets dragged to a lysosome and degraded and turned back into amino acids again. But the idea here is once you get rid of the parasites, your weight comes under control. In a magical way, because parasites are giving you chemical signals that stimulate you to choose foods that really aren't good for you. I've talked many times about how before I started dry fasting, I used to buy like $150 worth of pastries at the farmer's market and eat it all week long and buy another $150 until I dry fasted. Now I can't even look at pastry. Don't even like this stuff. Bread's almost completely off the table as well. So what happens is without these chemical signals, without these people inside of you, these things inside of you screaming for their food, and you listen biochemically to get the stuff they need, you end up getting fat. A lot of problems with health and mental disorders and all this kind of stuff are from parasites. So once you get rid of the parasites, suddenly you're in a whole different paradigm. You're no longer the subject of feeding something inside you. And then the normal biome gets healthy and everything's fine because at day 3, your gut replaces all the cells and laces everything back up in the villi so you have no leaky gut and the bacteria will normalize and so forth. So the biggest deal though is the anxiety angle, I see a lot of people really afraid and upset about what's going on with gas prices, food availability, all this kind of stuff. One of the big major things is getting ill. What do you do when you get ill? Can't afford to go to a doctor, can't afford pharmaceuticals. Maybe you don't need them. Hippocrates said, when you feed yourself while you're ill, you only feed your illness. Very true. The power to heal is inside you. Nothing I do is going to cure anything. But what I am teaching you how to do is to turn your body on to repair everything. Because that's where all this stuff, gets fixed. God heals, doctors take the fee. God heals, doctors take the fee. So the idea here is get some of the anxiety off the table. You don't have to worry about getting sick. You don't even think about it. If you're low on food, dry fast. You got plenty of fat, you got plenty of energy, you got plenty of water to make in the cells. You'll see a period of time where you can't eat, that you won't be hungry, you won't be thirsty. If you try to drink while you're not eating, you will be hungry and you will be thirsty. Because you're feeding your parasites, you're feeding the wrong biochemistry. So dry fasting is really interesting in that fact that it not only takes anxiety off the table, it cures a lot of other things just as a matter of course. I can't wait for my dry fast to start in a couple of days here because I know that everybody, including you, have things happening at a low grade that hasn't percolated up to the point where it's a pathogenic issue. But if you just dry fast every year, anything that might have gotten started is nipped in the bud, Andy. I mean, seriously, it just stops it dead in its tracks. And you start a new year completely fixed up, no virus, no bacteria, no pathogenic organisms, no parasites, and you start fresh again. I mean, I love my strawberries, but you know what? I'll bet I probably pick up some pathogens somehow in here, some parasite somewhere. It's just part of being in nature. You live in nature, it's part of nature. Although these guys need a haircut. These guys have gotten so big now, I gotta make a bigger bed. But they're still around, you know, they're still making strawberries, and it's still pretty good stuff. And, man, wow. Fresh off the plant. Tons of solar energy still inside of it. It's wonderful. Anyway, these are all propagating out with little runners and stuff, and I've got them all set up so they can produce all the plants for a bigger bed. And these plants will divide into a bigger bed. But the message today is eat healthy, be healthy, drive fast to maintain health, and to get rid of problems that are just way in the background. You don't know are there yet. Just do a drive fast. It'll take care of all these issues that are cooking on the back burner, that if you just let them go for a couple of years, they're going to erupt into something. That never happens. And we see that. You know, the first dry fast you'll do, the first 7-day dry fast you'll do, you'll have this orange stuff that you evacuate out of your bowel afterwards. That's all the death. That's all the toxins, all the stuff that's been in the cells that has not been able to get out. All the stuff in the lymphatic system, not able to get out in the nodes and all that stuff. You get that stuff out. And you'll notice the next time you dry fast, you hardly get any of that stuff because you don't really accumulate much in a year. But you accumulate a lot in several decades, like I had. You know, like I said, this is the best way to stay healthy. It's the natural way to stay healthy. And it's the natural way to deal with anxiety and stresses on coming up, because they're just going to get crazy. But you don't get sick. That's a pretty cool anxiety off the table. Anyway, I've got to dig into these beds here and start getting things figured out. And that's my day. It's tough. But it's fun. You know, it's at this age and at this youth, I have plenty of energy to pull out this stuff like I'm much younger, because biochemically, I probably am. Anyway, talk to you soon, talk to you tomorrow. I'll be starting my Physitin this evening. Heavy doses, you know, 3 times a day, 1,000 milligrams. I have 6,000 a day for the next couple of days. And that gets a lot of the senescent cells out of the way. Probably crank up the resveratrol to get the NAD plus going, and get my sirtuins all happy and crazy active. And that's it. So look, I will talk to you tomorrow. Hang with me the next couple of days. I'll be doing my dry fast daily, and I'll be doing it with you. See ya.